You're watching the Autos 360 Network.
You're looking at the artwork of Ivan Benic, who just painted a couple of Superbikes, airbrushed them. And tonight he's our special guest here on SST Live, which is part of the Autos 360 Network and the Virtual Auto Show, produced by and presented by the Ottawa-Gatineau International Auto Show. And right after this intro, Ivan will join us live to talk about his latest masterpieces. And we are live tonight with Ivan Benic, super artist who has just painted some, airbrushed some Superbikes. And for those who are regular viewers of the SST Car Show, anybody who's into car culture probably already knows who Ivan is. He is a fantastic automotive artist, an airbrusher, a custom car painter, custom car builder, body guy, an all-around good guy. Welcome back, Ivan. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm okay.
Great to be back.
Really excited to have you on tonight because you have been very busy, and you just finished up a couple of pieces on some Superbikes, right? What exactly were you working on? It Superman, superheroes, Hulk? What is it?
Well, the Superman bike is actually Jerry Hunt's bike that he's been running for quite a few years, and the Hulk bike as well. They're both they're top of the food chain in drag racing, turbocharged Superbikes, basically. And the Superman bike is the one that he likes to run right now. The other one is a little scarier because it doesn't have a wheelie bar on the back of it. So yeah, they're pretty crazy. I'll let you know a little later how fast they are.
Okay, so just so people have a visual reference of what we're talking about here, you did shoot some video and you shared that with me, and I edited it down so that it's short enough and in a format that we can share here tonight. So I'm just going to run some of that video so people can just get a taste of what these Superbikes look like. left there, Ivan. That's master airbrushing, man. I love the Superman. That is really awesome. Who was that in the video there that we saw?
That was Jerry, the owner of the bike.
Yeah.
He was actually in between every run that he makes. It's only a 7-second run, but it takes a little bit of time, and he's got to take the clutch completely apart, right? Clean it and put it all back together. Make sure nothing's happening, because the clutch is the one of the most important things on that bike at that point. It is everything. It puts the power to the ground.
Yeah, well, it takes all that punishment too. There's a lot of power, a lot of torque there.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is the heart of the bike. I mean, the engine is, but so, the clutch is very important. That's the way he explained it to me. And you've got to change the oil every single run.
Yeah, you have to be pretty brave to climb onto that thing and fire it up and tear down the line like that.
You have no idea. You have no idea. I've been told I've been brave many a times, but I tell you what, I wouldn't be getting on that.
Yeah,
maybe if I practice for a year or something.
Yeah, for some people it's a rush. For other people, it's just terrifying.
Well, I used to drag race 750 Kawasaki back in the day when that was the fastest bike, street bike in the world. And I'll tell you what, drag racing a car and then drag racing a motorcycle, and even if it was a 12-second motorcycle, it takes some doing. All the respect, because I did it. But 7 seconds?
Yeah. And we did see the
to a rocket.
Yeah, we did see the ticket there. How fast is that bike?
That bike, the fastest right now, he's thinking that is the fastest time that he's ever turned on it. He's not sure. He's got some other close runs from the year before, but Saturday he ran a 7.15. So that is a blink of an eye to 699, and that's what we're looking for at 191 miles an hour.
That is wicked fast. Wow.
Well, think about it this way. The way I could even explain it better, I think it's as fast as the rails and the modifieds with 4,000 horsepower.
Incredible. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Now there is a little video here that we have of him making a pass. I'm just going to roll that so people just get a little taste of what all that power and speed is about.
That was the night before. At night, he was bound and determined to get that 699 at night, figuring with cooler air, he might be able to pull it off. Now, we would have had a better video, but for some reason or other, my phone decided to do this capture a nice moment. I hit the button and the stupid thing went like this, really, really slow. And that's what it gave me. 9 seconds of burping online, and then he moved 3 feet, and that was it. But the other one, I hope you got the other one, the real run during the day.
No, I don't have that video.
You didn't rip that one today?
But that's okay, because people can go to your Facebook page and look for it. It'll be on there, right?
Right. I got it in full. It starts at 2:22 or something like that.
Yeah. So tell them how to get to your Facebook page. What do they look for, search for?
All you got to do is punch in Ivan Benic, and there's lots of Ivan Benics, but look for the big van with 8 wheels on it, and that is my kind of, my Facebook photo that accompanies my name.
Right.
It's my van. Yeah. But
there it is, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that is your calling card, really. That's your
calling
cosmic
card.
cruiser.
That's it. Whenever I go somewhere, I don't really have to say anything.
And just to let people who maybe haven't seen it before, although it is world famous, just tell them how long that thing is and Just give them a little
Yeah.
background on that.
There's a bunch of info on it, but back in '76, so it's 45 years in about 2 months when we started on it. We started it with a '73 Chevy van. We chopped it, uh, built a nice long front end on it, like stretched the nose. But overall, the design didn't stay to my design because it was too difficult to execute in the little time that we had, And the body man did it kind of like his way, whatever is the easiest way. And so
Yeah.
then about 5 years later, when Dodge came out with a minivan, and the first word I heard from somebody driving next to me explaining to his wife, "Oh, that's a customized Dodge minivan." And I said, "Whoa, that's enough of that. We can't have that, can we?" And since Dodge was coming out with this nosy looking minivan, I says, "Well, I think I need to cut this up and do something with it." And so that's what I did. And I cut it up, and it took quite a while. It took a couple of years to get it from the heavy metal stage, all metal, bare metal, to a phone call, and one phone call and one magazine article changed everything.
Yeah. And now it is world famous. It's been in magazines and television shows all over the world. And everybody knows you because of the Cosmic Cruiser and because of your artwork, which is all over the side of the Cosmic Cruiser, the airbrushing. And that's what we're seeing here on these Superbikes.
That's it. Yeah.
So tell me about the process that you went through with these bikes. I guess he wanted superhero theme.
Yeah, it was always a superhero theme. The theme was already established. The bikes were painted before, at one point by another artist. I wasn't available or whatever, and he was working with somebody else. And then I don't even know how he came back. He had some other projects for me specifically, and I can't even specifically tell you what we were doing. But we were doing some prototyping and everything, and then I was in Toronto on a trip, and I got a text and come and see me on Monday. We want to do the Superman bike and la 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 la. And next thing you know, he wants the Hulk done as well. Or how did it go? No, the Hulk. He wanted the Hulk first, right? So I I started on the Hulk, but then he broke the engine on the Superman bike, and it was down anyway. And he says, "Well, I got to swap out engines. Do we have time to do both bikes?" And that is actually Jerry as the Hulk, the owner of the bike. I decided to do him as the Hulk because the Hulk doesn't mean anything to me. It's just the Hulk is the Hulk. But since he is the Hulk, as in crazy enough to ride this thing, I decided to do his portrait in greens to give him that Hulk look. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so we did the one bike, and then a couple of days later, he brought me the other bike almost immediately, like before I even actually started. And I got one, and I did both bikes, both portraits. I did them live on Facebook on my channel, so all my friends can watch.
Right. And you do a lot of that. So people should, check you out. And I guess, really subscribe, friend you or whatever on Facebook so that they can see your stuff.
Yeah. At this point, they have to follow me because I'm at the limit of friends. I'm hovering 5,000 friends, so they can't even friend me anymore. And so the best way is just to click follow, and then whenever when I decide to do a live video, then you can watch whatever I decide that I can create here. I will, you know what I mean? Like most of the time it's just little bitty paintings. It's nothing big. But this time, that's what I probably would have done it at his place in his garage, but there's distractions involved. And then I just wanted to sit down in my own space. I really think that I can always do the best job when I sit down in my workspace and get serious, even though there is a camera that's on behind me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And a couple of times I actually worked with the camera in front of me. So I was reaching around the camera and painting, and so that people could actually see those minute little changes that go on as I'm working.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and cue up a little footage here as well, because you were in the paint booth with him,
right.
and you were clearing these, right?
So yeah, Ray was clearing, and I was filming.
Yeah, and I have to make sure I hit the right video here. Forgive me if I hit the wrong one.
That's okay. But I'll explain it as we go. Then.
Sure. Yeah, there won't be any. You won't be able to hear you because there is audio of what's going on. But let's see what we have here.
All right, boys and girls, hurry up and somebody get here. There's nobody here yet, so I'm talking to myself, Gary. All right, so you guys been seeing the Superman bike getting painted. There's the madman himself, madman. And you got to be a little mad to go as fast as you go. And here you go. The body is off because he's going to be adjusting the clutch in a few minutes. So we're going to let him do that, so I get to walk around and show you guys where we are. And I'm so glad that I came, because I had a nice ride in the country. The van used some fuel in the first 50 miles. Enough so that I almost ran out of gas because I didn't look at the gauge. I assumed everything's hunky-dory. And then I went through 50 miles by 21. $50 by 21. Yeah, Highway 21 turn off. I looked at the gas gauge. I went, no way. It's on friggin' E. So I just kept coming to the red. I never go to the red. Anyway, so Jerry's telling me that he made his first run on his first motor with 2 pounds of boost. So here you go. All right, we don't talk. This guy don't talk, he does it. Quarter mile, 7.234 seconds on a virgin motor with 2 pounds of boost, 188.44 miles per hour. Right? He's not the There you go. So, yeah, this is a live out of the trailer, which is mechanic shop. He's mechanicking right now. I'm going to leave him alone, and I'm going to show you the body, what it really looks like when it's sitting down with all the Zeus fasteners and ready to go. My candy apple red over top of carbon fiber. So she looks, the camera picks it up and makes it actually a lot brighter than what it is. It's actually a black cherry almost color. All right. So pretty soon I'll come back and I'll make a video, hopefully, of a pass with this thing. Alrighty. So there you go. This is the Superman bike that runs 7 seconds. Now you can tell why, right? Alright. There you go. He's doing something. Got the clutch all apart. Oh, and sandwiches are coming. Whoop, whoop. There you go. The clutch is all apart. And then he's got to do whatever he's got to do. Looks like soup to me. So there you go. There's a Hayabusa making some stupid horsepower. Alright, I'll show you the other one. Alright. Did you run this one yet? No. You didn't run the little one? This is the scary one because it doesn't have the oh, he just put it outside while I wasn't looking. they put the bike outside. I'll show it to you in a second in the sunshine. So here is this is the one that likes to fly in the air because it doesn't have a wheelie bar on it. So this bike here just goes stupid haywire if something goes wrong. So if you get too much grip, she hooks up too hard. Oh, she's pretty nice looking bike, huh? All carbon fiber body. Okay. What is that? Oh, that's a snowmobile, I think. Snowmobile. Yep, a couple of snowmobiles there. Okay, so there you go. This is in the sunlight, which I never really seen. So she's in the sunlight, sitting down on the ground, and there you go. You can see the carbon fiber. All right. The Superman bike is they're getting it ready to make another run, so we'll see. Maybe we'll make a live video. I gotta get off and call it a day with this. I mean, not a day, but there you go. Look at that. Carbon fiber come alive. Huh? There you go. It's got fingerprints all over it, but it's got some Ivan shading on it. And pretty cool concept, eh? Candy apple red over top of carbon fiber. Hey, Scott. How you doing, buddy? Anne Marie, what's going on, girlfriend? Yeah, I had a good time running up here through the countryside. All right, that's it, boys and girls. Keep them short now. Bye.
There you go.
We got the one that I filmed at the track.
Right.
So you're still looking for the spray booth one. You didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't
I
catch
don't think
it.
I got that loaded up, unfortunately. I rendered it out, but it's not in the queue here. So again, but you can find that on Ivan's Facebook page, and you should go. Everybody should go there anyway because your content is awesome, and you're always going live and sharing, your artwork and the process with people, and that's what you're all about: is creativity and sharing what you're doing. Right?
That's correct.
Tell me about the carbon fiber on that. You mentioned that, and it does add a lot aesthetically to those pieces.
Well, what we're looking at is like I painted another Hulk bike about 2 years ago, and I started seeing what I'm seeing. Like I get my own ideas from the medium, right? And it was actually, to be honest, the first time I ever painted on carbon fiber. So I never really thought about carbon fiber, but when I see it and I see what's been done to it, and I go, well, geez, there's so much more. We can use this medium 100%, right? So now, as a matter of fact, Jerry's going to hate me because he's watching this, but we're going to go, I think I'm going to talk him into making me another carbon fiber panel so I can do a piece of artwork for him. But anyway, back to the idea of all that. So what I've seen, it's one thing just to put artwork on something, but when you see the carbon fiber and how reflective it can be, and I just look at it as color. You know what I mean? Like it's a metallic-y looking color that goes from a silverish to a gray. So therefore, if you use it as such, and you got to hide some seams anyway, you do your artwork and you suspend the color over it, over the charcoal. It's the same thing as painting a candy apple color over top of charcoal, gray, black. I mean, there's black cherry is always a popular thing, and every other combination of bases that you can use in custom paint. So now, with an addition of the airbrush that I can put down a certain amount of color to pop some stuff up, and then just use the straight candy to blend colors and give the painting life. Give them, for instance, the red. Yeah, that is his cloak, right? Superman's cloak, the red, and then the blue, it would be his bodysuit is all in blues, right? And especially in the cartoons, in the cartoon books, his bodysuit was always in a metallic or metal blue, and gives it strength. You know what I mean? So I automatically thought that that's the way that should be presented. No opaque colors. Use what's there and use the transparent. So when I got the Superman done and I'm going towards airbrushing his body, I put in a little bit of candy, the blue candy, and a little bit of the reds. I did the lettering on it. So when I brought it to him for the first time to see it with his own eyes, you know, he watched me. Jerry watched me paint just like everybody else, and he turns around and looks at me and he goes, "Hey, Ivan, that would look really good if we put some candy red on the tank." And I looked back at him and I went, "Duh, what have I been telling you for 2 weeks? We need the candy apple red over top of your other stuff." So that's how all of that stuff happened. But the other bike, the Hulk bike, is more carbon fiber on the rest of it. So we had to keep the artwork and a little bit of shading in the green, the carbon fiber, to show what it could possibly look like. I try to talk them into it to let me mix some candy green for it, you know, because you can't just take a color out of a can and put it on and say, yeah, okay, I'm done. You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way for me anyway. I don't know, maybe someday we'll talk them into doing the Hulkster in a green candy as opposed to just leaving most of it in carbon fiber and a little bit of green.
So the carbon fiber has a pattern to it, and because you're doing this sort of a semi-opaque paint treatment,
Well, this is
kind of
opaque, completely opaque is the artwork.
Okay, but I mean, like the pattern is coming through, right? So you have to take that into consideration when you're doing this and incorporate the directions of the lines and things. That's got to be in your, you know, top of mind when you're going through this creative process, right?
Right. Well, what I did there is I knew exactly what it was going to look like. You know, I just had that image in my head, and see, there you go. Like, see the highlight around the Superman's face, the brightest red. Well, that's me putting down, basically airbrushing a little bit of an opaque color and a little bit of metallic that would blend in that highlight. And then soon as I moved away from it, like the next 2 inches, I left it alone, and we blended the candy apple, completely transparent color, directly over top of the carbon fiber color. So in other words, if you look at his neck right there, if we took the red, candy apple red, and airbrushed it over his neck, boom, it would be that reddish tint right away. But that hasn't been tinted. So I selectively airbrushed where I thought I wanted to airbrush for the medium. You know, so you know, you don't have to paint everything out to get what you really want. So yeah, that's where the art part comes in, you know.
Well, the carbon fiber, I think it sort of lends itself to what you were working on, and it becomes it's your canvas to work on, but because it has a pattern on it, it influences your creative process. And you know the old saying, the medium is the message. Well, I think the medium, which is the carbon fiber in this case, influences and almost dictates how you're going to lay your color down and how you're going to compose the image on what is basically your canvas, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's almost like I was telling you what to say. You figured it out. That's exactly it. That is the balance of creative process with the vision, with an idea. like I said, I felt that that's what had to be done is candy apple red. So when he said, "Hey, this would really look good if I candied the rest of it," and I just laughed. I just smiled. I said, "What do you think I've been trying to tell you for 2 weeks?"
So Superman is an iconic pop culture figure, and
We all grew up with it.
everybody has their own sort of, I guess, favorite version of Superman. Where did you start in that process when you were trying to decide how this Superman was going to look? Did you look to the old Supermans first, or did you like the newer ones? Did you like the Christopher Reeve type Supermans? Where did you start?
Personally, I probably would have went with an old Superman, but I think I would have. It would have been a mistake. Okay, because I'll tell you what happened. My next door neighbor's grandson and his granddaughter came over, and they're both 5 and I believe 8. Okay, and they walked in my work area here, and both of the kids at the same time went, "Oh, Superman!" And without even, I didn't have any part of his shirt done, nothing. It was just a portrait and the shading on his neck. And both of the kids at that age recognized him as Superman. And that's better than any facial recognition stuff. You know what I mean? When a 5 and an 8-year-old recognize Superman, I think I did my job.
Yeah. Well, I think it looks just stunning. It's incredible detail on the hair, the face. It just I don't know, man. That one really resonates with me. Like the Hulk is good, but the Superman, that just pops.
It has a clean look. And yeah, it pops because of all the decisions that we made. Every single thing is part and parcel. You know what I mean? Like the red, how much red we put on. The gold, how much gold is in his face. The whiteness of his face. How is the light hitting him? So everything is, and you're right. Yeah, and that one will go down in infamy somewhere. People are going to be talking about it for a while because there's one thing that we didn't mention yet, and nobody thinks about it because it's my thing, right? But you know what I get the most satisfaction out of is when I know now what I'm creating today, if it stays photographically together, 40 years from now, somebody's going to be pulling it up and talking about it. You know what I mean? Especially with the internet thing. Because even today, I still get stuff that I come across that I done 40 years ago, 45 years ago, 50 years ago. And then we put it on it gets put on a page that people don't expect to see any of my work, right? And all of a sudden, everybody goes crazy about it. And it was, at the end of the day, the most talked about things nowadays is like the stuff I did in the 70s with my own spin of it, the amount of color that I use, not necessarily stupid detail and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, there's all kinds of stuff that always gets overworked, but I made sure when I paint that I don't do that. And obviously, you can't spend 3 weeks painting something and only get paid for a week. So, you know what I mean? Like my gig was always, I don't know if you watch some of my stuff, and then when I do talk about it, everything I ever did in the 70s on the vans was a 40-hour effort. So in other words, the price was already set. It was always set. Whenever I did a job for somebody, it was going to be 40 hours of artwork, and that's going to be X amount of dollars, and that's it. So I didn't go into, trying to sell them a 3-week job when realistically people can afford a 1-week job. So I kept my 1-week jobs going.
Yeah, because there is a business side to all of this, because you don't want to. it's okay to be sort of a hungry artist, but you don't want to be a starving artist.
No. I enjoyed the way my life went in the 70s. I enjoyed the pay scale that I was working with. I kind of wish I could still get that pay scale, but in inflation dollars, I was doing really good.
Yeah. And if people do want to commission you, I guess they can look you up on Facebook or contact you.
The easiest way, yeah, everybody, it's as easy as a PM. Sometimes I don't answer, but only because I'm getting old and senile, I guess. I tend to open my messages a little too late. And if I don't answer them right away, I kind of forget the next day. It doesn't matter how much money could possibly be involved. I'll forget. And then if you don't PM me again, hey, hi, man, you don't remember? You didn't answer me. I wanted something painted. That's how it happens. I had a you know, a lot of little things happened on Facebook.
So, you know, a lot of people in the car world, when they think of automotive art, they automatically think of pinstripers or, pinstripers mostly. But even the pinstripers, like Ed Big Daddy Roth, and, there are others, but they were also airbrushers, right? Into airbrushing and custom painting. And that's really where you're at. I mean, you're more versatile than just being a pinstriper. But where did you find, or where do you, I guess when you started out and even today, where do you draw your inspiration? Is there anybody from the past, say, that you sort of draw inspiration and influence from?
Actually, I basically just looked around a little bit, and I said, what kind of artwork do I like? What am I all about? Right. And I was always into serenity. So I was born, on the coast of Croatia. I had a lot of the visionary stuff from up in the mountains that were, say, not even a half a mile away from the ocean. So that landscape, incredible landscape from the top of a mountain looking out to sea with a whole bunch of islands. I had that ingrained in my brain, and that's kind of what I've always wanted to paint. Like what's on the side of my van, that's what I've always from day one wanted to paint. And that is actually, yes, it's Croatia. It is 1, 2, 3, 4 different scenes from Croatia all on one side of the van. So that is basically where I always went with all of my artwork. All of my 70s vans had some kind of a scene like that on it, and there was always a nice looking female in there, because I always liked showing them that what is something that they could identify with. Like just about anybody can paint a cloud, anybody can paint a rock, anybody can paint some water or something like that. But I always like to show the difference what I presented a lady like. And there was invariably always a female in my artwork somewhere, so that I could show my, photorealistic skills, that you can walk over to and say, oh, that's a sexy looking girl. You know what I mean? Like there's no cheating there.
Well, the human form has always been, a staple for artists, and it is a challenge to portray either through sculpture or sketching or painting. And I think airbrushing and painting is probably the most challenging way to try to depict the human form.
Yeah, well, actually, if you're talking just that, yes, form is challenging, right? But overall, that's just such a very, very small part of art. What is challenging, really, realistically, especially when it comes to a car, is composition. How do all the different shapes and colors work with the car? That is the difficulty. Okay. Um, uh, I've always gone on the premise that no matter where or how far away from my car you shoot, you should be able to read very clearly what I have to say. You know what I mean? So composition and color when it comes to my stuff was always number one. You know what I mean?
Yep. And it is an expression. I mean, it's not just about trying to make it look realistic. It's about expressing yourself as well, and your style always comes through. And when I look at the artwork that you've done on these motorcycles, I think that that project lends itself, or did lend itself, to your style. When I look at all the other artwork that I've seen from you, whether it's on the Cosmic Cruiser or your paintings or on other vehicles, you know, your style really shines through. How would you describe your style? What is it?
Well, actually, I got an easy one. My style is actually Ivan style.
Okay.
It's as simple as that, because I kind of learned a long time ago to stop exactly where I want to stop. I don't push the envelope as, you know, I have to do a photorealistic painting of something and it has to be absolutely perfect to that photo. I just find that kind of like mechanical, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do a painting and I stop at the right time, even putting my source material away, so I force myself to paint with my own little vision, then yeah, I'm satisfied. That's when I'm satisfied. It's when I get that Ivan style, which is recognizable only if you see, let's just say you see 10 or 20 of my paintings, you will recognize Ivan's style.
You know, when I've spoken to other automotive artists over the years, and the person who really comes to mind is Yosemite Sam Radoff, who was a friend who passed away a couple of years ago, and he was, you know, famous as well, really well known. But boy, was he frustrated, because he always felt that automotive artists never get the respect that they deserve. And he always viewed himself as an artist, and a fine artist, a sculptor. And I think that you're in the same league as that. I mean, when I look at what you do, you are an artist first, not just in your painting, but even in the way that you approach bodywork. Like that Cosmic Cruiser is a sculpture.
Absolutely, yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, and respect for automotive artists? What's that? What?
I got lucky.
I guess so. Yeah.
I put down my thoughts and I went at it, and I can, you know, like everything I did on it, I'm pretty satisfied with everything. And it's been what is it now? It's the design on the Cosmic Cruiser is 38 years old now, and I was on the drag strip over the weekend, and every single modified car that's out there had a nice long nose, like the way I tried to pull my nose out and get some mileage out of it. Let's just see how much air cutting really means, and I'm happy with what I did there as far as aerodynamics. You know, I'm happy.
And why do you think that automotive artists don't get more respect? You know, there's a certain, I think, almost snobbery, if for lack of a better word, among.
There's nothing else. The snobbery, you have even no clue. We at least can make a living here. The automotive artists, when I started this in 72, when I started airbrushing, the only thing that you seen on the side of a car was a little bitty painting. Let me see, about that big, You know what I mean? A foot by a foot or 2 feet. The occasional trunk lid. That's all I seen at Detroit. And Detroit was the bar. You know what I mean? There's very, very little artwork being done. And
right. Detroit Autorama.
Detroit Autorama. And yeah. And then anybody with the brush thought that, automotive artist. Oh, really? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I don't want to brag, but I did pretty good.
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't have to stick a painting under my armpit and go door to door, gallery to gallery. So here, you want to put my stuff up?
Right.
You know what I mean? And cut the gallery in for 50%.
Or go for, or seek a government grant just to get somebody to buy it because nobody will.
Yeah, I did everything artistically that I ever wanted to do. You know what I mean? I've got the biggest commission ever, and I finished it, and that's going to be left behind. And it's, 150 linear feet of wall space on canvas. So I've been to canvas plenty of times.
And
that's to show my portfolio. It's, you know what I mean? 38 feet by 8 feet in a canvas painting. Yeah. We're not afraid of anything or anybody's brush.
and the automotive art that you do has connected you to other people through the years, and that leads to other work, right? Because your reputation sort of builds.
Right. Well,
even outside,
it does, it works, and it doesn't. Because at the same time that you think that everything would be hunky-dory and would always work, because of my automotive name, it actually, for the average person, hurts me. Because they always think that I'm about, whatever was the last thing that they seen. You know what I mean? The colorful automotive art obviously is something completely different than what you would hang on a wall. Right?
Yeah.
So, in essence, people, especially here in Windsor, they don't even think that I would be interested in doing a painting on a wall or a large canvas painting. You know what I mean? So they fall into the category of whatever, and they buy whatever is available in the stores around. I personally don't know what they hang on their walls because I haven't really done that much artwork that would go in a person's home.
Yeah.
And
so when you're painting something like these bikes, you're using automotive paints, right? So is there a particular technique, or does it change the way that you approach what you're doing with the medium?
No, actually not. You see the Hulkster right there? That is all done with actually my airbrush colors, which is Createx airbrush colors, and some automotive water-based paints, because I'm thoroughly tired of breathing in, toxic automotive paint. So when I do artwork, I try and do the artwork for as much as I can with water-soluble water paint, basically water-based paint. And then, because we know what we need to know, we also sandwich it, and we can also do come out with automotive urethanes that will go right on top, and the candy there is all straight urethane that goes on top. But like even the painting behind me, it's done with the same paint. I mean.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Pardon me?
I didn't know that. So you're using fairly non-toxic water-based paints then?
Yes, absolutely. Whenever I can. I do prefer, however, using automotive base colors, which would be all your base paints. I prefer that because of how it actually sprays, and you're not dependent on being in a really perfectly dry place. You can work around the humidity that we have locally here. So if I use all watercolor, like say for instance, on the side of my van, you know, I'd be going waiting for paint to dry for half an hour before I can do the next step, or an hour. I've waited an hour on a rainy spring day. It just slowed me right down using the water-based paints. But if I fire up my base colors, load it up in the gun, give it a shot, keep on going.
Yeah, yeah.
And I prefer it as far as the way that the base colors spray, even with the airbrush. It's actually better for the airbrush. Everything. It's another deal altogether. You don't have to clean it as much. It's we can go on for hours. Your podcast is gonna be 3 hours.
What do you use? An Iwata airbrush? Do you have a particular brand you like?
Yeah, no, for about the first 47 years or so, I use nothing but the cheapest airbrush there is on the market, pretty much. Not El Cheapo, but I used a $50 Pache H single action airbrush that did everything I ever wanted to do with airbrush, because there's always a point where you can airbrush, but then it's faster if you pull the brush out and give it a stroke and then airbrush over it and so on. So for the longest time, I used an H, and then I realized that, yeah, there's more that you can accomplish with an Iwata, because you can cut it down to, you know, really, really, really fine. They're the superb airbrush. So I've got I think I got 7 or 8 airbrushes, and I got Iwata and a Pache and a DeVilbiss and a Seta airbrush, and I forget what else. You know.
Yeah.
I got.
What about that painting behind you?
Yeah.
There's a fair bit. Is there airbrushing in that?
Yeah, that's the car itself is airbrush, and then the wheels. The wheels I would come in and brush them out, and then airbrush over the brush out, and then the blower is actually I don't even remember now. I got to look at it. I painted it a couple years ago. Yeah, the blower is a few well placed brush strokes, and then I airbrush over it, and to give it a complete airbrush look. And you know, it's a process. You know, it doesn't really take me that long. It's more of a build up, layers and layers. You know what I mean? To get to where I'm going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you do have a very distinct style. You know, I look at what other artists do, and sometimes they're playing with reflections. I think of Michael Irvin, and you know, he plays a lot with reflections. Your composition is very unique, and you know, you play with lighting a fair bit, I think, too, and the way that the shading affects things.
Yeah, the depth of the color. I play with that more than anything else. Because if you're depending on reflections, I don't know. You know, like I can see it certain times, and it's no matter how it's executed, it starts looking fake. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I just when I get going, there's a certain way that I want to present the painting, and I'll keep on going. You know what I mean? Because like even this painting here changed quite a bit from the first hour. You know what I mean? Or the first, like, let's put it this way: the first time I put the brush down, I thought I was done, and then I went back in and painted some more. And then everybody that's watching me work, they're probably going, geez, I thought he was done. But yeah, it looks better now. So I keep attacking it. So now we'll see. You know what I mean? I might go in there. I still got the rear wheel to do. I gotta finish up the rear wheel a little bit. And I said, yeah, what was it? Oh yeah, I never painted the center cap. I didn't paint the center cap on it yet.
See, you probably have a fair stockpile of work that you're holding on to, and some of it I'm sure is probably even for sale.
Yeah.
Do you have any places that are like an online gallery, or can people contact you to buy your stuff?
No, I don't even, when I'm doing this kind of stuff, this is really just me having some fun. I just realized that's the car I want to paint. I'm going to paint it, and I'm going to figure out later on what we're going to do with it. And until I sign off on it, like, it's not signed yet. You know what I mean? Until it's signed, it's not done. So when it's done, yeah, that's what we're going to be bringing to Ottawa probably, is stuff like this. These will probably be eventually available in limited edition prints. Again, it depends how you print them and how many and what marketing. And I don't even want to think about marketing. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather go on just the way I've been going.
Right.
It's always been, my whole life was always somebody walking over and say, Ivan, can you blah blah, right? Paint me this, paint me that. It's always a commission. And this is the first time in my life where I organize it good enough that I can sit down and paint whenever I feel like painting, and then I put it away, and I have it here and it's ready to go. Oh, here, we're going to change it up a little bit, and we'll show you another one that we did not too long ago. And here I concentrated on reflections. Have you seen this one, Rick? Huh?
That's gorgeous.
Have you seen it before?
I don't think so. Maybe one when I was down there. Yes, I did. Right?
Oh yeah. You did. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Even this one, I decided that I was going to concentrate on that bumper, and I painted the bumper to the best of my ability. But then at the same time, I photographed a friend of mine's 55 Ford, and I looked at it, and I opened it up in the computer, and I looked at it, I says, no way, I couldn't believe this. There was a figure of me in the bumper, but I was upside down. And I'm going, I didn't know that. I didn't know that the image was going to flip upside down. Like the way the chrome was shaped, there's an image within the chrome of me, and it's upside down. I'm going, oh, that's definitely next level. So if I ever do another painting, that's the kind of detail I'm going to be looking for.
Yeah.
Because you don't see stuff like that unless you have the advantage of opening up the photo and you see what those funny looking lines were. And that's actually an image of me upside down. Can you think about that one for a minute? I mean, you've taken a lot of pictures, right?
Yeah.
But see, if I paint, that's what I want to paint. Like this one here. There's an old barn in there, but behind the barn, you don't want to know what's happening.
Well, I think it's fascinating to watch you work, and I know that we were going to have you at the last physical auto show in Ottawa, and then the COVID thing hit. But the plan was to have you there and actually doing some airbrushing on site at the Shaw Center with the Cosmic Cruiser on display. And I mean, I'm hoping that we can make that happen in March at the next Ottawa Gatineau International Auto Show.
That's what I'd love to do. You see this piece right here? Over the weekend, I can paint a piece like that and make it whatever size I want. Especially if I cheat a little bit and plan it out real good, and maybe even do some of the background so I can do just nothing but detail. I could easily do that in one night, one day and a half. I'm done with it. So if people, so now I don't know if I can do that though, because people are going to want to talk to me about the van, but I'm done talking about the van. So maybe you'll have to stand next to the cruiser and talk about the cruiser.
Well, that's the one thing about you, though, is
teach them what to say.
Yeah, but you are very fast. you paint very quickly.
I get it done.
Yeah, you do. I mean, what you do in a number of hours, it takes a lot of other people days or even weeks, I think.
I don't know how fast other painters paint, but I know when I sit down, I have a way to get there, and you know, well, you've seen it. Even this whole painting here was done on Facebook Live. This whole painting.
Yeah.
Let me see what else I got here. That is Facebook Live, and yeah, but this is kind of away from automotive for a second. I'll just pull another one out. Okay, this is a Facebook Live effort, and this painting here means a lot to me because it was one of the absolute first commissions that I ever painted. That same painting I did 8 by 20 feet in 1973. So it was my real first painting on a wall commission.
That is big. That's a big piece.
Yeah. And a funny story on that one. I did this in a restaurant in a marina on the Detroit River. The marina's on the Detroit River, right?
Yeah.
So I decided to paint the big C like that, right? And this one here has, can you see yeah, there you go.
Yes.
The ship, the Viking ship,
yeah,
coming across. We call this the Widowmaker because the big C was a Widowmaker. That's what the Norwegians, the Vikings, used to call the big C. So anyway, so I painted this up, finished it, and the restaurant opened, you know, and it was I remember it well. It was right around the Christmas holidays. So somewhere in there, I went in for a visit to see how, you know, how the people are feeling about the painting. And the guy looks at me and says, "Ivan, I think we messed up. Everything is okay until they get up off the stool and they want to go walk towards the painting. They somehow all lose their weak equilibrium. They start wiping out. Too much depth."
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that painting there, I repeated that on the side of a van in 1975. And speaking of Yosemite Sam, Sam was still the headline painter. And that was the first time that I hit the scene with that painted on the side of a van. And Sam came over and said, "Damn, Ivan," you know, and we had a lot of good things happen because of that scene right there. It was on the side of a van, and just all kinds of stuff happened because of it.
Yeah. So is there anything else you can share with us about the work you did on these Superbikes?
Well, only that the Superbikes are all going to be up at Grand Bend again in about a week and a half now.
That's at the Grand Bend Motorplex.
The weekend after, on the 14th, he's going to be running, and Jerry is going to be trying his best to get down into 699. And I did a little bit of research about these runs that he's making, and his time on the bike right now would stand to be in the top 5 to 10 bikes in the world. So it's not just 699. There's very few bikes that went that fast, let me tell you.
Wicked.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if he runs 699, he says he's not running it anymore for the rest of the day. So I hope he doesn't get 699 on first pass, because then, you know, the people are going to miss out on some shows.
Yeah. Well, Ivan, you know, it's been just a little over an hour now, so I guess we should probably look at wrapping up. I really, really appreciate you sharing everything with us tonight. Really looking forward to getting you up to Ottawa finally in March with the cruiser and with your airbrush toolkit, so that you can
That's
do
it.
some airbrushing on site at the Shaw Center in downtown Ottawa.
We'll have to find
I
a
think it's going
dealer
to be
with the
awesome.
van. We'll have
Sorry,
to
go ahead.
find a dealer with the van and says, "Here, airbrush this, son." That's what we used to do.
Airbrush a van on site.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, what's
Yeah.
it take? Water sanded outside a few hours before, and start airbrushing. And the airbrush doesn't put that much dust out. And like I said, we can use with I've done like my very first van. First time I ever done it was at Cobo Hall, and I just blew some colors on in the garage, in the body shop, blew some colors on and brought it in like that, and it just looked like a mess, right? And then I started airbrushing, and I just kept on going all weekend, and I was right next to Fats Domino, next to the stage, airbrushing all weekend, and I got my van done. And then the following weekend, we went to Erie, Pennsylvania, and did the other side. 2 weeks later.
You were next to Fats Domino.
Fats Domino, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. What did I
There-
say? I forget.
Yeah, well, that's
Oh.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, yeah. So looking forward to getting you up to Ottawa in March. Stay tuned, and we'll have details on dates and attractions. One of which will be Ivan Benic, creator of the Cosmic Cruiser and master airbrusher, and just all around good guy.
I like the good guy part. Thank you. We're going to have to fire it up and come and visit you on the way up next time.
Okay.
We'll
All
get
right.
some footage around Chatham.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Ivan. An absolute privilege. Really appreciate you sharing everything with us this evening.
Hey, thank you for your time too. I'm liking it.
We'll have Ivan back, and this is Rick Walker reminding you that when you can't get to the car show, we will bring the car show to you online at sstcarshow.com, and now also through the virtual auto show, which is presented by the Ottawa Gatineau International Auto Show at ottawaautoshow.com.
All righty, buddy. Later.
Thank you, Ivan.
Thank you.